Hey everybody, welcome back. So it is a cold day in Pennsylvania. It is currently 19 degrees with a wind chill of 6, and we are directly off of a field here. I walked in today with the sled as the four-wheeler and the side-by-side are not working, and for now I'm filming on this. I will be filming on my good camcorder and everything soon here, but it was a hike in, and I can't walk anymore. I can't do it. So I'm gonna settle here. It's a good spot. It's nice and open that way, so I'll be able to see if there's deer, and that way it's just kind of all timber, and then it goes to a little valley. But right behind me here we have our sled with our bedroll, our wood stove, and a hot tent, and we're gonna go ahead and get it set up here. I like this spot. There's no like dead timber right around me because they've logged this quite a bit. So I think right here in this nice flat spot, even though it's windy, we'll do fine. I'm gonna go ahead and get this unwound here, and we're gonna start setting the tent up. So what I started to do here, because it's starting to get later and I'm freezing, is I'm walking down a nice spot here to put the tent. So I'd say we have about 8 inches of snow, but it drifts, so it's kind of hard to gauge it exactly, because some spots will have 1.5 feet and some spots will have 2 inches. Right there's a drop off. Make sure I don't put it there. We're just gonna keep walking it down, getting it nice and padded down. So today, the tent we are using is a Russian Bear Market, which I still believe that's the website. It is a UP Mini 2, I believe. It's a pop-up umbrella style tent. And this is their medium stove, I believe. Fits in this Chappelle sled, kind of out a little bit, but I use wire to wrap it on there. I'm gonna get this guy out of the sled. I think it weighs about 60 pounds, 70 pounds. And we'll start to get it set up. Here's the tent out of the bag. Just like any other tent, it doesn't like fitting in the bag. We're gonna get it unfolded, and it'll look kind of like an octopus. This is a downfall of this tent. I have it all set out, and I'm trying to pop it up. If you're older, there's no way you'll be able to do this by yourself. People say, like, as time goes and you use this exact tent, I love this tent, don't get me wrong. Over time, it weakens a little bit, so it's easier to push up. But this is the mechanism right here. There's this umbrella type pole. I tied paracord to it, and my foot's holding the paracord down, so this will stay in place. And I'm trying to push up here and pop this out, but it is hard. I'm gonna keep trying. All right, so I got this thing popped up. It's 5:08, I think. It's almost dark, but I was able to get it. I had the paracord, and I just had that ran down, and that big rod you guys seen, that one is just to pop it up. You then unscrew that whole rod that was here. That's in the bag over here. And then there's a little one about that long that you screw in, and that's what's right there. My back's hurt me after that one. We got it. I actually filmed a video, or started to make one, about a year ago using this tent, and it just didn't turn out. I couldn't pop it up, and I flipped out. I have that footage still. It's getting late. We got to get the stove in here. Right here's where the stove goes. It is getting late quick, so I'm putting 2 tie downs where the stove jack is, so at least this is sturdy. The rest won't be super sturdy, but it won't fall down. But just in case wind hits, it won't push in and then touch the stovepipe. Right here is the stove jack on this tent. It's actually a really nice stove jack. Like I said, I love this tent. Like, I really do. It's just the pop-up part of it is really a pain in the butt. But right here's the stove jack. I can't do it one-handed. And it's pretty heavy duty. This has like 3 or 4 layers of a normal door that zips, your screen and everything like that. But this is the good part. This is the door. And with the push like that, you got a nice opening hatch door. Basically, you've got Velcro down the side here, and it Velcros into this seam. So here is our stove that we are working with. I'm actually kind of liking the quality of this camera on this phone. Here is my canvas stove mat. This does come with a stove mat. I have it inside the tent bag, but I prefer using my heavy duty one. So I cannot feel my hands at all right now. We're a little behind. As you can see, it is pretty much dark out now. I went ahead and got the stove in here, and it has these 2 heat shields on the side, or glass protectors at the same time, because if you unscrew these wing nuts, you pull this off, and then you've got glass. So there's glass on this side, glass on this side, and it looks nice, puts off enough light to light it up in here at nighttime so you can see a little bit, and I think it's a good touch to it. We're gonna go ahead and get the other one off, and then we have to get this thing going. Cannot feel my hands, and it is cooling down quick. There's no wind right now, and it is still freezing. I got the pipe done already. I just want to get that out of the way. We are going to cut this tree thingamajig down. Got our little handsaw here, little Seaside mini chainsaw. We're gonna pull this down. Come on. I'm gonna walk this whole thing over towards the tent and saw it up. Now, I know I'm using this little handsaw, but I do have backup just in case. I brought a Silky handsaw, but I'm glad I brought this because I was a little behind on time after how long it took me to walk into the woods with that sled, and also how long it took me to set this tent up. Stove is set up correctly. It's a little crooked, but that's fine. The ground's uneven everywhere here. And so this is a very simple stove. We got our glass sides. The front, this is the only complaint I have about the stove. It's not a really big opening, and it's weird. It's a circle. And this doesn't like to hold on the best. It does, but you gotta kind of push this out a bit so it holds tighter. On the front of this little circle here, we have our little draft cup. It's the damper, draft, whatever. This goes over and you can see where the holes are. So the further you put it, the less oxygen it gets. That's closed. It's not getting air. Get a little bit, and then if you want it full blast, you just open that up. Very simple. It's a very small stove. No bigger than this stick will fit in there lengthways like that. Here's a lighter. Basically, one of these torch lighters is as long as you can have a stick that goes in there. Inside of here, I have some fire starters. I don't mess around with the magnesium and stuff, guys. I just kind of like lighting a fire when I'm cold. Here's one of those little tumbleweed things. We're gonna stick that here in the front. Stovepipe is nice and firm. Always double check. I checked outside. I grabbed a bunch of this like mini grapevine almost. It was hanging out of a tree, and I just kind of snapped it all into a little bundle. It's alright if stuff has like a coating of snow on it. As long as it's really cold outside. You know, the wood can have snow on it, but if it's standing wood, it shouldn't be real wet if you're in the dead of winter. Alright, now that we have some wood in here, keep in mind this wood is a touch wet. We're just gonna light our fire starter. And also, it comes with a really nice ash shovel here. Thought that was a nice touch. It also comes with gloves, but the mice got the gloves. So we'll get that on for now, and our fire's going. Until the camera warms up, the lens is very cold, and now this is warming up. We have the bedroll. This is an Ellis Canvas Cowboy bedroll. It's pretty big. You can roll it up a lot tighter than I did. Just earlier, I had it in the house, and I pulled it all apart and put in new blankets. I'm gonna go ahead and unroll this, and we'll start cooking our dinner. Now we got the cast iron on the stove. I poured water in, let it simmer, and I tossed it out to clean it. And now I'm gonna put a little bit of butter in with paper towel, and I'm gonna just simply wipe it down. A little wad of butter here. And we're gonna grab a piece of paper towel, wipe the butter around in here, sides. This will clean it out and also season the pan. And now, for what we're cooking, we are cooking a pound of deer burger. So I'm gonna grab it from outside real quick. All right, here's the deer burger. Okay, and it's kind of frozen a little bit. So now I'm gonna throw the rest of that butter in. I have another wad of butter I'm gonna throw on this side. The stove's tilted, so it's all going in one part. Well, the part where all the butter's going, I'm just gonna throw in some onions. And we'll caramelize those as we cook the deer burger. For the deer burger, I'm gonna just kind of chop it up with my fork. It's gonna take a bit to cook because it is frozen on the inside, but I'm just gonna keep tearing it apart like this. And make sure there's butter or some kind of oil always in your pan. So we're gonna slowly just cook all this down together. And once I have it unthawed enough that it's all spread out and all separated, I've got some homemade non-sugar taco seasoning. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut this up. This is just straight deer ground up. It is done. This is a custom holder my sister made. I don't know if you can see it or not, but what we got here is some little logs that I cut, and I'm putting tinfoil on it just for extra, and we're just gonna set it on that. We're getting a draft in from the door. I have it cracked, and that'll help cool that pan down. But as it is still really hot, as you can see, it's not burning. It's just really cold air blowing in. We're gonna go ahead and in this tinfoil here, I have some cheese. We're gonna dump that on top and not mix it in so it doesn't stick to the pan. Just shredded American cheese. We're gonna let this melt and then we'll eat it. All right, so the deer is cooked and it's been cooling for a minute. I am overheating, like really bad in here. Put the damper on that. It's mainly my hands and my feet went numb just from how cold it is. But now that I got the fire going, and it's actually going decently, it kind of was slow at first, but now that it's going, I've got it glowing red. I took all the precautions before time so I can relax, and even if it does get bright red, it's fine. You know, I've got good distance with it. I've got it really taut from the outside. Even though this inside layer is kind of baggy, the main structure for this wall where the stove is, I've got it pulled out. It's nice. I still have the lantern on. The lantern is only for the video. If it was just me camping and I didn't film, for the most part, I would not have a lantern on. This puts off enough light. It's not real bright, like you don't want to go reaching around the fire while it's going with no lantern. But anyways, I just keep talking about stuff. So we're going to go ahead and try this deer. It's ground deer from this season from my aunt. My mom made the taco seasoning. It's heavy on the cumin. I really like cumin. And then it's just like normal spices. No sugars. Like no carbs to it barely. So it's really simple. Because when you get taco seasoning from the store, you got to really watch. Because they add sugar. It's in there. Everything has sugar in it from the store, pretty much. So we're going to try it out. This is what my sister made. It's like a heat-resistant knitting material. It's meant for making pot holders and stuff. There's that. Simple. And yeah, I know deer is kind of dry and lean, but I don't really like meat that's real fatty like that. We're going to try this out. Yeah. I'd like to say, I added a lot of taco seasoning to this, and I didn't even overdo it. Like, I could have put the whole shaker in here and been fine. I honestly prefer deer over beef. I put on Instagram that I was out camping and notifications are coming through. That's what you guys are hearing right now. Sorry, I had the microphone right next to the phone. I'm gonna move it over here. I like deer more than beef. Beef, I kind of get sick. I don't know what it is with beef, but I get kind of sick. I can have like chuck roast, something like that. But if I have like ground beef, I don't know if it's because what they, you know, the stuff they give the animals, but whatever it is, I get agitated with beef. I don't get agitated with pork or chicken, so I'm really not sure on that. But deer, I can have a bunch of deer. I don't get sick. I only feel like healthier eating it. It just feels like it's like, hey, eat this, it's good. I take forever to eat. It's really simple, I know, but I'm sorry, my diet is very simple. Even onions and like cheese, most people won't even do on this diet. I'm gonna go ahead and eat, and then I'll see you guys after I eat. I might do a live stream. Alright, the camera is now on the live. We have been live for a while, guys. Here is our chat. The other stream ended, but I've been live forever. It is now time to get some more wood. So, shortly, I'm going to put those annoying boots back on, and we're going to get more wood. There's the live stream. Whenever I go camping, guys, and I have service, I will go live. So here's the situation. The saw, the chain has come off, and I'm trying to get it back on. It doesn't want to go back on. The silky saw, I tried it. It does not want to cut. It's like not sharp at all. So I'm trying to get this back on. It's really snowing out now. I was just out there and it's pretty windy now. I'm trying to get this going. It's late. I was live streaming for a lot longer than I was gonna stream. Now I've got no wood. I had a really hard time getting wood. The hand saw is extremely dull. I have it set there. And the hand battery saw is not working. I think just the batteries are dead. You know, it's so cold outside. That mixed with using them quite a bit earlier, they're just both dead. Kind of in a situation with wood. I've got a little stockpile underneath these little pieces down under the stove there. I gotta move it away from the stove before I go to bed. I have enough to probably get through the night, hopefully. I'm gonna get that done, and you guys can see the flames here. Pretty cool about the stove. I'm gonna head to bed. Bedroll is over here. I'm gonna get the wood away from the stove. I got my pants hanging up. They got soaking wet from being out in the snow. And we're gonna go to bed. It is 2:40 in the morning, I think. 2:42 in the morning. Yeah. It's 6:30 in the morning. It is freezing in here. Like, I can see my breath in here. It's been about 3 hours, 3.5 hours since I went to bed. It's pretty good. Must have went out of wood not too long ago. But I just threw in half of the wood I have left. Now that it's going, I'm gonna put the damper on. I'm gonna try to stretch out the last bit of wood and put that in about 2 hours. Well, the rest of the wood is now in the stove. Once that gets going, I'll put the lid back on and try to make it last. It is 7:40. I couldn't really sleep again. It's just been cold. I did warm up, but I was just really cold from when I woke up still. But that's the rest of the wood. There's a little bit here that I can snap up, but for the most part, once this burns, I'll let it cool down and we can pack the stove away. So I went ahead and got the bedroll packed. I could have done that a lot better, but I did what I could. Got the saw back together. I did bring chaga tea in my thermos, but there was like a soap taste to it. I think it had like Dawn dish soap in it. Got some sticks that wouldn't fit in the stove, but it's still nice and warm up here in the ceiling. The stove is still real hot. I'm gonna take stuff out and then have everything right here. So once I'm out, I don't bring snow back in before I pack it away. Another thing I'd like to add is I love the design of the ceiling. The bottom level, you know, it's dark and camouflage. You know, all panels are camouflage for the bottom. But then the outside of the top is camo, but this inside wall is white. And it allows the light to hit onto the white paneling, and it really acts as like a light bulb in here. But it's not really bright, but it makes it really nice in here to see. But on the outside, it's camouflage. Alright, so we're out getting it packed away. Took me a little bit to get the stove done. The stove was kind of, it wouldn't cool down. I took all the coals out of it, and I just couldn't get it to cool down. But whew, it's really cold out again. It's not even really windy right now, but it's just cold. As you can see, it is snowing, but it's not crazy. But we're still in lake effect snow, which that's what this is. But yeah, I guess that's a bit of snow. I'm having a hard time getting all the snow off of this tent. I don't want to pack it away with a bunch of snow on it, so I got to try my best now to get the stakes pulled out and get the snow off of it so I could pack it away nice and dry. There's a bunch of tracks out in that field from last night. The deer were running pretty heavy. It's hard for you guys to see, but they were running. From what I could tell, they ran up and then past me, and they went back up in there. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching. You can see this is the little circle we left, and now that the snow is melted from where the tent was, I can clearly tell that the ground is a little uneven right here. I was laying in the only trough, and then there was a mound here, but it's hard to tell when there's a lot of snow on the ground. But I hope you guys enjoyed. It was a cold night. I didn't film a lot last night, but I only slept once. I mean, it got real cold. It's like that frigid cold. You feel it in your bones. But it turned out to be a pain with the saws. I didn't have enough wood to like run the stove at max, so I kept throwing a little bit in overnight, and luckily I, had enough to get through. If not, I could have just come out and grabbed a bunch of small stuff and snapped. I would have survived. It's not like I would have died or anything, but I gotta sharpen that saw for sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I haven't winter camped in a bit. Actually, I don't know when I last winter camped. I last cow camped in the cow deer blind, but that wasn't winter. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I want to give a shout out to all of my Patreons, and I really appreciate the support.